Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by Christina Vote. Christina is a freshman on the Boston University women's hockey team, and she recently got her first career goal this past Friday against Northeastern. Welcome to the podcast, Christina, and how's everything going?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's going pretty well. School stuff, hockey, busy schedule, all that stuff.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's good that you're keeping busy, even though it is the season. So just talk about scoring your first goal. That's kind of how I want to start off things right now. What was going through your head when you scored that first goal, and who did you call first after the game?
During the first goal, like it was crazy. Just like being on the ice with like my line, amazing. Like I thought we had a great like period, great like game in general. Scoring the goal, I just had no idea that was gonna go in. Like I did a little flip shot right from the front of the net, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like just throw her at the net, we'll get another rebound. Yeah. Um, but it was amazing. Like I was actually so surprised it happened. I like blacked out. Like people had to tell me after the game like what I did. Apparently, like I had a celly, like no big deal. But yeah, it was just amazing. Like the rush was unreal. And yeah.
Oh, where do you keep the puck? I'm just curious. Do you have it with you right now?
It's actually in my stall in my
Oh,
locker
nice.
room. But yeah.
Nice. Something good to look at during the season, which I assume is important.
Yep, a little inspiration each game.
Now, did you call anyone after the game, or did you get all your family members, I guess, get to see the goal in person?
Yeah, so I live in Arlington. Most of my like family was there already. Um, I haven't. So my brother is at the NTDP, um, but I wish I could call him. He's also has a very busy schedule.
Hmm.
But I say that like I haven't called anyone yet, but I hope to call him soon and talk to him because he also just got his first goal.
Oh,
It's
nice.
also so cool.
Well, congratulations on scoring that goal. That's a pretty awesome feat to get a college hockey goal. And also, it must be a sense of relief for yourself to finally get that monkey off your back since you don't have to be worrying about that during the rest of the season. But let's talk about your team's performance this past weekend. You had a really successful weekend. You beat the number 2 ranked team in the country in Northeastern, and then you also ended up tying against UNH. Just talk about your team's performance so far this season, and what have you personally taken away from these first 4 games that you've had?
I think my team has like really improved from like the first games and the first practices. Um, we've been basic, like we have a new goal each practice. Of course, we've worked on like passing, getting in like rebound lanes, like just building chemistry as like time goes on. My line I think has also been doing very well. We've been working on like breaking the puck out, of course. Like that's one of the most important things. You have to get the puck out of the zone to start scoring goals. So that was one of our like main goals, and I think we've really like assessed that well. Our next is just like finishing the chances we get. Like I'd say we get like plenty of chances during the game. Julia Neris has gotten a few goals as well. We're
Mhm.
still looking for Fu to get some, but she'll come. She'll come. Um, the team in general, I think we're like really, really improving. Had some of course, like each team has a couple of rough practices, but I'd say overall we've really been developing our game very well and focusing on places like that we actually need improvement. I think our coaches are also like assessing that very, very well. Like we have film and they're really doing a good job, I'd say.
Yeah, just talk a little bit more about your line mates, Catherine Fulham and Julia Neris, especially Julia Neris because she's one of the older players on the team. What's it like having a player like that on your line? And just talk about the goal she scored last Friday, I think, against against UNH in the home opener. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, I have so much respect for Julia. She's an unbelievable player. Um, I'd say she's going to be our top goal scorer of the year. Um, just having like two older players on my line, I'm really like valuing and like I really benefit from like learning from them. Like after each shift, we all like sit down. We have like little like talk about what we could have improved on that shift, like give goals for the next shift. But there's nothing but like positive talk throughout our line, and yeah, I think it's just going to go up from here.
Now, what's the atmosphere like at Walter Brown? Because obviously you didn't play there last year, but the BU band was finally back after the team didn't play in front of any fans this past season. Just talk about the energy that the crowd had for your home games that you've played so far, because just watching it from a screen, it seems pretty awesome.
It was amazing. Like you do get like, for me, I get so locked into the game, it doesn't even like matter if there are fans there or not. But we really like after the game, we really took our time and appreciated like everyone that came out to like support us. And the band was amazing. Like it's so nice to like sit um on the bench and like listen to all the different things. And they're very good. Like I've never like experienced that. Like you don't have that stuff at like prep school. So like
Hmm.
having a band there is just like so much. They really brought up like the energy of the crowd and everything. So
And what's your favorite chant from the band?
I just love when they're introducing the other team and they turn around and like make all this noise you can't even hear. I love that. I think that's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, what's been the biggest adjustment you've had to make so far to college hockey? Has it been the speed of the game or just the physicality since you're going against players that are 3 to 4 years older than you are?
I'd say for me, it's definitely been like the physicality. Like I'm 5'2", 125 pounds. Like I'm one of the smaller kids out there. But I'm like also my line, like I have like two bigger, stronger girls on my line, which I really like value because they can be all scrummy in the corner and like take up bodies in front, and I can just like circle around and get extra loose pucks and like make plays and pass the D and everything. Yeah.
Now, I want to transition and talk about the off season that you had. How was your off season, and did you do anything interesting, whether it was hockey related or non-hockey related?
So like during the summer when I was training, I trained with like Freddie Meyer, like helping out with his camps and everything, like Dream Big Hockey. Um, I actually try to like stay off the ice mostly during off season. Like, I had like one or two practices a week and like worked out every day, but I know a lot of kids like go and actually have like real practices every day. And that's just like not something that I value. Like, I think my body recovers the best when I like take periods of time off. Like, of course, be active, but also like take time for other stuff. I took a couple summer classes, like all that. But yeah, I think that like I'm so focused on hockey during the season that it really helps. Like I go on the ice every day. Like before a game, I'll be on the ice, like shooting around, whatever, getting my shot down. Um, but during the off season, I think it's really important to like take a break from hockey and like let your brain rest a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's also kind of good because, and especially when you're younger, you don't want to get overconsumed with one sport because then you might lose interest in it. So it's good to kind of just do other things just to keep your interest in hockey at a high level, which I think is important for some players.
exactly. I agree with that.
Now, how do you kind of like get rid of the off-season rust when you start playing again? Like when you start training, is there anything that you have to do like when practices start, or is it kind of like not really any adjustment just because you do get on the ice occasionally, like you said, and shoot the puck around?
I definitely think there like are little changes that you have to make. Like there are little parts in the game that you have to like keep up with, and like just like seeing the ice is something that you need to like reamp when you like start the season again. But like working out, you like use all your muscles. They should be all like warmed up, ready to go. Like sometimes you're a little like rusty with stick handling, but it all comes like a couple practices in, you'll be all good. Like not to
Mhm.
worry about it.
Now, overall, how was training going for yourself, and what are you working on right now regarding your game, and what are you trying to improve on the most regarding your game for the season?
Um, so I think one of my most valuable assets is like my speed. So I really try to like focus on. Of course, we like try to lift heavy, try to build like muscles, get stronger, everything, but really like emphasizing like speed in like every sets and like mostly just that. I've had a lot of problem with like grip strength. Mine's very very weak, so just like getting that up as well. But yeah,
How did you get your grip strength up? I've never really heard of that before.
it's very very strange. I try like just like holding anything really, like farmer carries, holding any like I've never heard of it in a hockey player either, like weak grip strength.
Hmm.
But I'd say that like with me like focusing on it more, I've actually noticed a difference in my like shot, like accuracy, like power. Yeah.
So just like holding like heavy things and doing finger exercises, that kind of builds up your grip strength.
Yeah, just like also along with like all the other workouts with your hands, like pull ups, push ups, like all
Uh-huh.
that stuff, just like building muscle memory, all of that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I've never heard of that before. So that's
Yeah.
kind of just another little part of your game. But once you get those little details down, I feel like it improves your game as a whole. So that's awesome that you're working on that. And I think that's definitely going to improve your shot and the rest of your game as the season goes on.
Mhm.
Now, did you face any challenges this year training at all? I know there were some gyms being closed still because of the pandemic, and ice time is still kind of hard to find during the off season. So, did you face any challenges compared to last year, and how did you approach that for this off season?
I didn't really struggle with that. Like I worked out at Mike Boyle's strength and conditioning. But also like during COVID when everything was like shut down, we bought like weights at my house. Like I have three brothers, one of them is out of the house, but the two others, like they're also very big into working out. So I would like work out with them, do their sets. Of course, I'm not as strong as them, but still participating, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, we have some like weights at home and just doing like a lot of body weight exercises is plenty, I'd say.
Yeah, and do you notice a difference between doing the at-home workouts when it comes to performance on the ice versus working out in the gym? Because I know some players sometimes actually prefer doing at-home workouts because those body weight workouts are better for your muscles, and it creates more pliability, so it causes less injuries. Is that something you noticed? Like, what's your thoughts on all that?
I wouldn't say I noticed a big difference. Like I'm not someone who I would say is I'm like like very, very strong and the strongest on the team, but I'd say like it's nice to have like a strength coach and someone to like give you tips on like form and like give like certain exercises. Like of course growing up they give you certain exercises to like do, but you never know like for yourself what you actually need to improve on until someone like corrects you. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And obviously, you have your brothers with you. Just talk about the competitiveness that's in the room because I feel like that probably builds up your strength as well, just because you're trying to compete with them.
Yes, exactly. So I'd say I'm someone who has like very good like balance when it comes to like exercises. I do a lot of like one-legged like squats, like skater squats, all that stuff. And it's like so nice because I'd say that like my body weight versus their weight and like what they lift, I'd say I'm actually doing better, even though the sense that they're lifting more than me. But since my body weight's lower, like that's like very nice because then we get to like upper body exercises and they like kill me.
Hmm.
But like it's nice to like have at least one thing to excel in so you don't like get down on yourself. But honestly, it is really great to have like those two pushing me in the gym and everything.
Now, once you got to BU, you started working out with the team and meeting some of your new teammates. Just talk about your freshman class as a whole and what's it like preparing with them, and how have you gotten to know your class so far since you've only got to see each other really for about a month.
I've gotten really close to the freshmen. Like we are all in a group, so we have three rooms that are all connected. So it's us six freshmen all spending every day together, which is it's great. It does get a lot, but it's good overall. Meeting the team, I am someone who's very bad with like names and faces, so it definitely took me a little bit longer than most of the other girls. But I wouldn't say that anyone has been like over, I don't know, stepped out of their like spot on the team. Like everybody knows their spot, everybody like fills their role, and so I'd say as long as everyone like understands that, like the team dynamic is going to be great.
Yeah, and BU is obviously one of the younger teams in Hockey East this year. So just talk about the upperclassmen's leadership that they've brought to the team so far, especially players like Alex Allen, Haley Blinkhorn, and Kaylee O'Donnelly. Just talk about the leadership and how they helped your freshman class so far when it comes to adjustments to college hockey.
They were just at college in general. They were like they like introduced us to everyone. Of course, they like showed us where our classes are. Like in the gym, like of course we're new to like the environment and the workspace in the gym. They're like so patient with us. Like everyone's already kind of got down their routines and everything like before games, and they're like, okay, like you can have your routine, but just like be aware of everyone else's routine as well. Like kind of schedule yours around, and as you go up through the ladder, you can make more adjustments as you go. Um, they've been great, like with the coaches, and like in the sense that like translating what the coaches are saying, because sometimes coaches are a little confusing, but like they've been so patient with us and like really helpful, like just around campus and on the ice and everything. So it's been great. Like I'm so thankful for them.
Now, what's it like playing under Coach Brian DeRocher? From what I've been told, he's like one of the nicest guys in hockey. Just what's it like learning under him so far for your first month of your freshman year?
It's great. Like he is also someone who's not like yelling at us. He doesn't yell. He's a very like level-headed guy. Like he takes his time. If you don't understand, he doesn't get upset. Like he'll take the extra seconds to like explain. He never calls anyone out or puts anyone down on the ice, which I think is very, very important for like players' developments. Um, he works so well with our other coaches like Kirsten and Molly and Abby, like doing practice plans and like game day and just like having everything coordinated and ready for us so that we can just like get ready for our games, like be in the right headspace, like anything we need we can ask. Like he's made that so clear, and he's the best. Honestly, I couldn't ask for a better coach.
Now, I want to transition and talk about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now with Boston University. So you're from Arlington, Massachusetts. Talk about how you started playing hockey and what's it like growing up in Arlington.
Arlington is a very like hockey town. Like we have Sports Etc. down the street, which is in the middle of Arlington. Like everyone knows about it. Like there are so many kids that have grown up and like in high school work there. There's like little like rollerblade hockey places all throughout. Like at the high school, there was like you would see kids every Sunday like playing rollerblade hockey. Um, Ed Burns Arena. Like it's great. Like everyone is so supportive. Like when it comes to the hockey community, like growing up, like I remember having like skating lessons at Ed Burn, and just like when I started, like I played for like I played against like the junior Bruins and like the little like town leagues, and just even that the competition like was actually very, very good, which I feel like in some other places it kind of is like, oh, hockey, whatever, like a little less like competitive. But I think like growing up through Arlington has been great. Like, yeah, it's not like club hockey, but it's really just one step down. Like it's really still competitive. They really like focus on development, like growing up. Um, but yeah, I think it's a very like good hockey based town. I really like appreciate that. And I think that's helped me like grow as a player as well, just the support. And yeah.
Now, did you get into hockey on your own, or did like a parent or sibling kind of like start watching it and you started got into it because of them?
My dad has like always played hockey growing up. Like he grew up in Lexington, right next to Arlington. He grew up playing hockey with his cousins, and so he taught us at like a very young age. Like he would take us to like free skate and like just like we built like a backyard rink, which was so fun, so amazing. Um, so like I started like figure skating first, just to like get down the basics, because of course girls are supposed to figure skate, all that stuff. But I couldn't, like when my brother came along, my little brother, he started skating. I just couldn't watch him. I couldn't watch him like have so much fun with the puck, and like just like the competition between us. Like we couldn't play different sports. We've grown up playing the same sport. Like I think that's one reason that I am so competitive and like my drive is so prominent in my personalities, because like growing up with him, we competed over everything, and I'm like very, very grateful for that. So.
Do you have any good competition stories on the outdoor rink? I feel like there's got to be a few.
Oh my gosh, so many ended in like tears, I'd say. Like one, like you couldn't get off it unless one of us was in tears. Like we are both so competitive that it's just, it's like, it's crazy. And I like love it so much. And it's still there today. Like we still go to like free skate sometimes when we're both around, and we'll like play little one-on-ones. And of course he's a little bit better than me now, but don't tell him that. It's
Hmm.
fine. Um, but yeah, just the memories are just amazing to have.
Who was your favorite player growing up? Was it someone on the Bruins, or was it a female player like on the national team?
Honestly, like I've never been one to like watch hockey, like watch other people, just because I get like frustrated from like mistakes. Like everyone makes mistakes, and I'm someone who just like can't really look past them in my game or like other people's games. So I'd say just like people that are like were directly in my life, like Scott Fusco, who is my Wizards coach. Like I've always looked up to him and like how great of a player he was, and like having him as a coach made it real almost. Like his knowledge could be my knowledge in my mind, and that just sat different with me versus like someone I never met playing in a league I'll never play in.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, and before Boston University, you played for your prep school at Williston, Northampton. Just talk about your experience there overall and what did you take away from it?
I loved Williston. As much as I love my family, I think everyone can benefit from a little time away. So boarding school was amazing, and I'm so grateful for that because like it made transitioning to college so much easier with like time management and all that stuff. But my coach, Christina Vote, and Davey, and just everyone there to support us was they were so focused on hockey that I fit right in. Like um it was amazing to like have new players come in every year and like just learn from them and learn from the seniors above me. Like it was just an amazing experience.
Yeah, and what's your favorite memory you've ever had with your prep school at Williston?
We had a little like pond, so we would go out and play pond hockey. Like we would get dressed in the locker room, walk down from the rink to the pond, and like there would be like kids who had never played hockey before like would come skate with us, and that was just and the boys hockey team would come, and it was such a community thing that it just brought everyone together, and I thought that was really amazing.
And just talk about how Williston, Northampton helped prepare you for college hockey because just doing research on the school, there's a lot of D1 commits that go to that school. So just playing with those type of players help prepare you when you go to BU because that adjustment period isn't that long.
Yeah, it I think it really like benefited in the sense that like there were kids that were older than me, and you don't really get that in like club hockey. So like those senior when I was a freshman, those seniors would like the competition they put on the seniors was, I mean, the freshmen were amazing. Like they wouldn't let up for the freshmen, even though we were smaller and like maybe not as good. Like they were pushing themselves, and during that time they would push us. And that I thought that was like a really valuable thing because I know that like if you're playing against a younger kid, you're like, oh, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to like put them down. But like I think that's one of the most important things that I learned at Wilson, that like everyone's there to like get better at hockey and get like learn. Like everyone wants to improve. Like without that like competition base and throughout the team, like your team's just not going to get better. Like you're not going to improve as a team, and you're not going to build that chemistry and like build that drive that you should. So,
Who are some of the seniors that were on your Williston team that currently play college hockey right now?
Kate Holmes plays at Northeastern. Caroline DiFiore plays at like BC. Like there are so many. One of my like better friends, Claudia Capone, she plays at Trinity now. But there were honestly so many like memorable girls. Gabby Jones plays at Merrimack, and there are so many more that I am blanking on right now. But yeah.
And just talk about what it's like being a hockey player in the Massachusetts high school hockey scene, because obviously it's a little bit different than other states, but I feel like for the prep schools, at least, it's a really cool environment to watch and be a player in.
Yeah, no. So like at prep school, we would play games like Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Like you would have a game, like probably 2 games a week, depending on the days. I love that we got half days on Wednesdays and Fridays for school. Um, but it really like it made it easy to like make friends. Like you instantly had like 20 friends coming in. Like freshman year, you didn't have to worry about like making friends with people you didn't know. Like you were thrown into a group, and this was your group, and you just made it work no matter like who the people were. And everyone was like instant friends. And I thought that was like a really, because I know a lot of people like, especially going into college or something, like a lot of people like really worry about like where will they fit in and like who they meet and all that. So I'm like, even for college, like I'm so grateful to like already have like friends that don't even know me and that will instantly call me a friend. So,
Hmm. And you also played for the East Coast Wizards. Just talk about your experience there and what did you take away from that?
so my two coaches, Scott Fusco and Kevin Harrington, amazing guys. Like I really learned so much from them. I've played for the Wizards since I was like 10, maybe younger. Um, but like nothing was more important to me than like really competing in that team, because I would go after school like to practices like two times a week, and then we would have like games or like tournaments on the weekends. So my like whole life really revolved around like that program and like the time I spent there. And I'm so grateful that like I'm only 20 minutes from the Bedford rink, whereas opposed to like some hockey players had to travel like over an hour and a half just to play on like the team they wanted to. And so I'm so grateful to have such a like a great program like right next to my house.
And you also got to play with Mia Biotti on that East Coast Wizards team. Talk about what it was like playing with her and just what's she like as a teammate, both on and off the ice, because I'm excited to see her play soon, hopefully with Harvard coming up.
Yeah, she's always been great. Like nothing but positivity from her. Her dad was a coach. Like I've grown up with Mia since I was 10. Like her dad used to be like the coach as well. Like he would help out during practices, and you can just see the translation from her to her dad. Like her dad was a prominent hockey player as well, and he really put that spirit into Mia. And again, with like the competitive drive, she always pushed people around her. Also, just like her going up through like USA development, like all of that, like you can tell like she is one of like the better players that the Wizards have seen, and like she should be really proud of where she's at. And like I appreciate all the stuff that she's like brought to our team, especially from like a leadership standpoint. Like when we went to nationals, like she was the one being like, okay, we're gonna warm up at this time and be at the rink at this time. She really had us all in check, which I thought was really, really great.
Now, does your team play Harvard at all this year? I don't know if you play them for the Beanpot this year or not.
I actually don't know. I think we just play them in the Bean Pod.
Or how excited are you though to go against her this time in college, not playing with her on the same team?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to play all those girls. Like I have people at like Northeastern and BC and Harvard, and it's gonna be great. Like I've already played against. I have a friend at Holy Cross, and that was amazing. Bryn. But yeah, I'm just so excited, and I've heard so much about like the Bean Pod environment and the crowds and just the excitement that everyone brings to that. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the best things about being a hockey fan, especially in Massachusetts, because it's kind of like our little thing. Like some people in other states don't really get like how awesome it is, and I just think it's really cool. And I feel like as a player in it, it must be an even greater experience. I know you haven't had it yet, but I'm excited for the Beanpot to come back since they didn't have one last year.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be amazing.
Now, talk about your recruitment process to Boston University. What made you want to go to that school versus other schools you might have looked at?
So I was originally committed to Wisconsin, and so like things just fell through. At like with COVID, like they wanted to keep their seniors, and I totally understand that. Like their seniors were amazing, um, and I just thought that I would get like more playing time at BU. Also, like being close to my family was kind of something I really wanted, and at the time when Wisconsin reached out to me, I was like a little hesitant about that. So I'm kind of glad I got the chance to talk to BU and understand more about their school and their program. And I could tell that like they were going to move up in the rankings. Like they have some really great players here. But yeah, being close to my family was one of the major things that like attracted me to BU.
And what's it like playing in Hockey East? I know you've only played two opponents so far, but just talk about just some of the competition you're going to play this year and how excited are you for that? Even some teams that people might not talk about as much, like Providence and UConn and Maine.
I'm very, very excited. I'm even these two teams that we've played, like our schedule is like hard. Our schedule is going to be a real challenge. And I think everyone on our team is like looking forward to it as opposed to like being scared of it. Um, I honestly have no idea what to think about like the other teams. I haven't watched a lot of college hockey and but I assume they're gonna be just as good as the two teams we've already played, which were very, very close games and very like nail biting experiences. But I can't wait to see what comes. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and your team played in your first 3-3 overtime. What was that experience like, having more open ice and getting more offensive opportunities to potentially score a goal?
It just like it really makes you like understand your hockey sense. Like know when to play zone to zone, know when to play like man to man, like know when to force an opportunity to go over the blue line into the offensive zone versus like pulling it back and regrouping again. Our coach is very 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 strict on like if you don't have the opportunity to go forward, regroup. There's nothing wrong with going back again and trying again after. You might even get some like fresh legs out there while they're like stuck out there. But really it was great. And I think like the conditioning we've done really like helped our team like during that point. Of course it was like a long game, a lot of ice time, a lot of shifts, but I think our team like handled it very well.
Yeah, especially at Whittemore because it's an Olympic size sheet, so it's a little more time and space that you have to cover. But one question I want to ask you about the 3-3 overtime is one thing I think noticed when watching it is just how important possession of the puck is, especially in the offensive zone. So what's like the key for maintaining possession of the puck in the offensive zone while trying to create line changes so you can get fresh legs in there to create offensive opportunities? Is it kind of just the regrouping like you talked about?
I think like a big part is the regrouping and not throwing away the puck, of course. But I think there's also a point of like when to go in and just push through being a little tired and like determining what your level of tiredness is compared to what the level of tiredness is on the other team. Like if you've had like half a shift, but the other team has had a minute and a half, like why not like push a little harder? Like we in practice we push and we push for those extra minutes like on the ice like in overtime like you really want to capitalize on those little things because it could end the whole game. Like you really need to know yourself and know your teammates and like how much everyone can actually handle because again it is a team sport. You're not going to go skate through the whole team as much as you would like to. Like that's just not realistic. Like it's a team sport. You have to know the people on your team and like what's best and what will create the most opportunities.
So what are your goals and expectations for your team for the rest of the season? Is it kind of like just national championship or bust, or is there other goals that you have?
I think everyone has the goal of like going to the national championship, even just like participating. Like, I'd say for me, like, my biggest focus is on like, I really want to prove to like my coaches that like, I like want to be on the ice. I want to compete. I want to be my lines grinder. Like, I just want to be there. Like, no matter how much ice time I get, like, I just want my coaches to understand like how much the sport like means to me and like how dedicated I really am. But I think as a team, like I really think that we have a really good chance this year to like really go play against those top teams.
Yeah, you proved it against Northeastern last Friday, so I'm excited to see what your team does for the rest of the season. It should be very exciting. Now, let's get
Mhm.
into the segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I just ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit off the ice. So my first non-hockey question for you is, if you could choose to do anything for a day, what would you do and why, besides hockey, obviously?
What would I do for a day? Honestly, like just anything outside. Like again, I grew up playing so many different sports. Like just like it doesn't even have to be like just like being outside. And I like that's something like I really value. Like hockey's like in an ice rink. Like as much as I want to be on the rink all the time, like I think it's really important for people to actually like go outside and like maybe like use some muscles you haven't in a while. But honestly, just like something that doesn't like that like sets creativity, like doesn't like limit you to what like society does in a sense. Like really get outside your comfort zone, like preferably with other people, like no matter if it's with other people or like something by yourself. Just like trying anything new outside would be what I would do.
Yeah, for myself, if it wasn't hockey, because for me it would be something related to hockey, it'd probably be like hanging out with like family or friends, going outside, like you kind of said. But for me specifically, like going on a hike, I think hikes are awesome, and there's some good trails in Massachusetts, so that's probably what I would do.
Yeah, exactly. Like swimming or something, just
hmm
something else.
It's hard to do it though in the winter time because sometimes it can get pretty cold, so you kind of just want to stay on the rink because that's all there really is to do. So it's really more of a summertime thing for me.
Cut open the ice, just jump right in. It'd be good.
Exactly, exactly. So if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Hmm. I honestly like don't know. I don't think I would have lunch with someone I didn't know because I don't know. I would be worried that I wouldn't like enjoy it in a sense. Like I think that I would rather have lunch with like an old coach or like an old teammate
hmm
that like I really like valued like my friendship with or like my relationship with, just to like catch up with them, like catch up with their lives, catch up with my life. Like I think that like it's good to like stay in the present in a sense, like not to wonder like what other people thought. I don't know.
Hmm. I feel like for me, it would be interesting to meet some people I haven't met before. So probably like Tom Brady, just because he's won so many Super Bowls and just to see the success that he's had and how he's handled it, and also learn about the business side of sports as well, because he's involved with that. I think that would be pretty interesting for myself.
I think that would be cool as well.
Now, what music do you like to listen to? What's your like go-to artist?
I've actually gotten into like Russ a lot lately. A little sad, but I don't know. I've been vibing with it. It's
Hmm.
whatever.
And if you scored what would your goal song be? I'm curious. Since you got your first goal, I'm curious if there was any song that they could play on the ice. What would it be?
I really actually fell in love with Joker and the Thief in the Night.
Hmm.
That's definitely my go-to. I listen to it like before game days. I listened to it all last year. Like that song really just hits different.
Nice. That'll be a good goal song. I've never heard it before, but I'll try to give it a listen after the interview. Now,
Thank you.
I'll have some questions about some of your teammates. First question is, who is the funniest teammate that you have at BU?
Oh, for sure, Julia Shaughnessy. That girl is next level. She is definitely the jokester in the locker room, like dancing to music, like making jokes. Like we have like a team Snapchat, like group chat. Like, oh, so funny. Just a
Nice.
riot.
Who's the best chirper on the team?
Oh gosh. That's a hard one. I find that there's like not a lot of chirping in girls hockey. Maybe Haley Blinkhorn.
Hmm.
She's got a quick mouth. I think she can handle it.
Who has the best style on the team besides yourself?
Of course. Probably Maddie Cardacy. I think she just looks like the classic hockey player. Could definitely fit in the NHL.
Nice. Any good off ice style? Because I know you guys have to dress up before the games.
Oh yeah, Maddie's definitely got it.
Nice, nice. And final teammate question is, who has the best social media on the team?
Hmm. I don't think I've really gotten the opportunity to stalk any of our teammates. But honestly, like I think it's Abby Ostrom who runs even like the BU hockey page. I think she just does a great job of like actually sharing her life and like our lives.
Hmm.
Even though it is of the BU hockey team, I think she just does a great job of it.
I did enjoy the video that was posted last week. I think I mentioned it before with Julia Neris's goal. I thought that was sick, just the
Oh
camera
yeah,
work. And I think BU has one of the better social medias in college hockey. So shout out to her if she runs it. I think you said she does, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, final non-hockey question is, what sports do you like to watch besides hockey?
Um, I would say this is a very unpopular opinion, but like soccer,
I
men's
love
soccer,
soccer.
women's soccer.
Hmm.
I've just the other people I've talked to are like, oh, soccer's so boring, like it's so spaced out, like they never score. I don't know. I think it can get pretty rough and dirty. There's some big flops out there. It was pretty interesting. But yeah.
I think European soccer is extremely fun to watch, partly because the fans are so into it. Like it's
Oh yeah.
completely different sports atmosphere compared to here in the US. Like I think it would be cool like to go like to an NHL game and have like a section of the stands where they're just going crazy like they do in soccer in Europe. I think it would be awesome. And some of the players are pretty fun to watch, like Messi. And just like
Oh yeah.
I kind of find it interesting just how different it is there and just the competition and how hard it is to win because it's not like here where you like have playoffs. It's like whoever does the best during the regular season wins the championship. But you play for like 8 months, which I think is crazy.
Exactly. It's a tough sport, I'd say.
Definitely. Now back to some hockey questions. Now, my first question to you is: what advice would you give a younger player who's trying to make it to a D1 college hockey team?
I think that everyone needs to keep in mind that D1 hockey isn't all about hockey. Like you have school as well. Like learning how you like figuring out how you learn the best and like time management, I'd say is more important almost. Like if you flunk out of school, you're not playing D1 hockey. Like you need to get everything together for school and classes and then assess like the hockey situation. Like of course you love hockey, of course all that happens, but no matter how well you do in hockey, like that's not going to keep you in school.
Hmm. And especially since you can't even play hockey if your grades aren't good enough. Is that true? Like you have to have a certain GPA?
Hmm.
Yes, that's another thing I feel like people don't realize. Like even if like you don't care about academics, you kind of have to care about it a little bit because if you don't, you can't even play hockey. So I think that's a very important thing for people to know. So I totally agree with you on that. Now, another question I have is what should be done to help grow women's hockey in your opinion? I know some strides have been made, but also some bad things have happened as well with Robert Morris canceling their program. Just what do you think should be done to help grow women's hockey in your opinion?
Um, that's like such a hard question. I think that like just like the support from other sports, like I think there's a lot of like controversy between like from sport to sport. Like people like look down on other sports. Like again, like I was talking about soccer, but like I think that like people from sports need to like actually like come together and be like, okay, we're all like we all have the same mindset. We all love our sport. We all need to like support each other. Like I think that's like one big step. Like I don't think people need to go like putting other sports down. And I think if other sports like start like I don't know appreciating other sports, I think that'll also help like people who don't play sports like supporters to like actually like I don't know gain interest in other sports. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Have you tried to support other athletic teams at BU?
Uh-huh. I've been to a couple men's soccer games. I was actually before I was watching a rugby game, which
Nice.
was so cool. I don't think I've ever seen like a rugby game in like ever. I went out to one of the girls' field hockey games. We had field hockey at Williston, but I never watched one, and I thought that was so cool. Just to see like something that's like so closely compared to ice hockey, but like you can't use like half your stick, like you can't use the other side.
Hmm.
I thought that was amazing.
I feel like I would get frustrated just because like you're like, no, you have to do it this way because you're so used to watching it that way, but you can't. So I feel like it would frustrate me a little bit.
Oh yeah, there's definitely that as
Hmm.
well.
Well, before we end off this interview, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to your family members, teammates, former teammates, friends? I've mentioned a few people throughout the interview, but if there's anyone I forgot to mention, feel free to shout them out now.
I would just say like my brother Will, like he's been killing it over at his development program. But other than that, like just good luck to everyone playing college hockey that I get to play.
Awesome. It should be a fun season. I'm excited for fans to be back as well. That's one thing I missed from last year. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Christina, and taking time out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate it a lot. And I wish you all the best for this upcoming season. I know you're going to do great, and hopefully I get to see your team play in person sometime soon.
Thank you so much.
Now, we'll talk.
Hi, this is Christina Vote. Thanks for having me on the College Hockey Talk. I'm from Boston University, and yeah.
Awesome.